That one's drilled deep to right field.
Hurts going deep for it all. Devonta Smith.
He has been fantastic in this fourth.
Wow.
A break in on goal, and he scores.
Back to another episode of Two Mics All Sports. I'm your host Zachary Chaby, joined by my co-host Joe Broll. What's going on, man?
What's up, Zach? How you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good.
All right, so I know we haven't recorded me and Joe in a minute. We've both been busy with schedules and stuff like that, and every time we try to record, something happens. But today we're going to give you guys an Eagles only episode. We're going to talk about the Birds finally getting back into the win column after a tough two-game losing streak. They were able to beat the Minnesota Vikings yesterday by the final score of 28-22. First and foremost, before we start anything, anybody disrespecting Jalen Hurts or his inability to pass the ball, they can shut the hell up right now. I think they don't got much else left to say. He had a perfect pass rating, over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns on the day. I just wanted to get that quick disclaimer out of the way. But first and foremost, what were your honest thoughts about the game, Joe?
I honestly think offensive coordinator needs to leave. Patullo can bye-bye. Run the ball. You're going to get Saquon hurt if you keep running that much. Saquon is not the same Saquon as last year. Everybody knows that you were effective with the run game. Saquon almost had the rushing record last year by himself. Yet alone, your backup and Shipley there last year too. So you can't run the ball as much because teams are going to be playing the run.
Yeah. I just think... sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, so those are my first thoughts. And you've been doing this for the not even first, for the whole season so far, getting this done. You know that you need to pass the ball. You passed the ball this week to AJ and Devonta, and they made plays. Let your stars make the plays and not rely on one guy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is the first time in a while that I saw Kevin Patullo, he saw that something worked and actually stuck with it. In weeks past, we have something that's actually working, but he just decides to completely get away from it, and it completely derails the offense as a whole. This week, especially in the second half, he saw the passing game was working very efficiently and went to it time and time again. Like you said, I'm still not happy with him. I still don't think he should be the offensive coordinator of this team because he's holding this team back from its true potential. Because think about it, this team was firing all cylinders when the passing game could be this well, but also the running game was the mainstay of this offense, and it just isn't in that. It just isn't what it is right now. This offense reminds me of 2023 when Jalen Hurts threw it had 40 to 45 attempts a game and just had to play hero ball, had to throw to win the games for the Eagles. Obviously, our defense was god awful compared to now, but at the same time, not having a balanced offense is not going to translate to good gameplay. Obviously, they had the explosives to AJ and Devonta Smith, but there were a lot of drives they had to stall, and they were stuck in 3rd and 14, 2nd and 15, long yardage, 2nd and 1st, and even first downs with penalties. Once you start behind the chains, it just completely derails the drive as a whole. And I just think he still doesn't know what he's doing, and he honestly got bailed out because he finally decided to give these two talented receivers the respect and targets they deserve.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
So, but just looking at the overall of the game, obviously we were playing an old friend, Carson Wentz. He played pretty horrible. He had 2 picks. One to actually Jalix Hunt for a pick 6. Jalen Carter had a big hit on Carson Wentz to force that pick. What were your thoughts on the defense as a whole and their ability to force the Vikings to kick 5 field goals?
I think red zone defense is the reason why we won this game. Obviously, they were 1 for 6, I think.
Yeah, I think
down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
I think it said with the 5 field goals, like you mentioned, and I mean that all comes with up front, dominating the line of scrimmage, giving Carson that pressure, the QB scrambles, causing more time on the clock rather than an incompletion. And then let's give it up to Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell for being able to guard one of the best, if not the best wide receiver in the league in Justin Jefferson. And Cooper going up with the one-on-one ball with him and breaking up that pass in the end zone, which would have been a big momentum turn. So I think the defense as a whole did a good job. Obviously, you still need help in the corner spot, but, you got to take the wins when you get them. Like, causing them to kick that many field goals in general in the red zone is pretty good. And making sure they don't capitalize. Because if they score 4 out of those 6 times, you're looking at least 24 points, I think, against you. So you got to just think that your defense really saved you this game.
Yeah, I think it's been this whole story of the season. Like Vic Fangio's, like his bend don't break defense. They might get down into the red zone, but he's forcing 3 points. He's not letting you score that touchdown, and it really paid dividends. Obviously, there was a close one with T.J. Hawkinson, but he wasn't able to keep possession, and it was an incomplete pass. But
I don't care what he says. That post-game conference where he was like, well, the one a couple of years ago, New York can't call in. I'm like, all right, but if the call went the other way, how would you feel?
Exactly.
If New York called in and said, oh, that ball was a catch, you'd be like, oh, that was a great call. No, you went down with the ball. You were never a runner. You never clarified yourself as a runner. You lunged out for the ball. You went out, 2 hands, ball hit the ground. Obviously, we all saw. And the ball rolled. You may have had 2 hands on the ball, but you didn't have possession when you hit the ground with the ball. The ball touched the turf. You see the turf kick up. Then you did a somersault with it and then fully maintained it. That's not a catch. And you might go, all right, then what about, I'm just going to go with the one that's on top of my head because it was kind of like that play, Zach Ertz in the Super Bowl, where he went down, the ball rolled and hit the turf, but he was clarified as a runner. He took his 2-3 steps and crossed the play in the end zone with the ball. Hawkinson just dove for it like any other wide receiver would have been. I'm sorry, but damn well if that call would have been the other way, he's looking at New York like they're the geniuses that they aren't.
Exactly. And they even gave them, like, he's complaining about that. They still got bailed out by that Jordan Mason touchdown. Jordan Mason was short. Zach Bond got to him on that 3rd down, I think it was 2nd down. He was short by a yard, but they called it a touchdown because he broke the plane. The plane only fell because he fell to the corner of the end zone, like he slid. So at the end of the day, they got that touchdown back. But I'm impressed with the way that, like, the Eagles' defense compared to not last year, but in years past, whenever teams would get down into the red zone, they're scoring immediately. Like if they get down in the red zone, it's very unlikely that they're not scoring. But I think field goals are tough. Like, obviously you don't want to put up points on the board, but you can take that at the end of the day. I just think we feel so much better about this team if this offense was firing on all cylinders, because the defense honestly is playing up the part like they did last year in the second half, maybe even better. Like, obviously they've had their hardships, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, they're keeping you in games. Like, if it wasn't for your defense, you would not be 5-2 right now. You'd be lucky to have 1 or 2 wins. Excuse me. But just overall, like, the defense's ability to stop the run and to stop the pass, like Cooper DeJean, that was a huge breakup on Jefferson. He got up for that. Like, that's usually a pass that Justin Jefferson always catches, but it was knocked down. And then Quinyon had his plays, but he let up that one to Addison, but just played well overall when it came down to it. Makuba with that huge interception. And then the pass rush, just getting to Wentz again and again. And Josh Uche and Moro Ajomo, both with sacks, which were huge at that time because it forced the Vikings to kick 3 because it was third, and then it was like, then they sacked him and made it 3rd and long, which opted them to kick the 3. And then obviously that botched snap that went right over Wentz's head.
That was such a bad snap. And I get it. I wasn't an O-lineman. It's hard to get down every play, but Carson Wentz, I think they said, is 6'5".
Yeah.
He snapped it over 6. Like, there had to be something going on. Either he was tired, exhausted, but like that cost them easily 6 points.
Yeah. Like at the same time, yes, the Vikings got down there, but they had a lot of costly mistakes. They had the T.J. Hawkinson touchdown originally. I think it was either him or Addison that got called back because of a holding. So they had their fair share of mistakes too. Like people like to say, "Oh, this game was rigged. They rigged for the Eagles and all that kind of stuff." You can't rig it. Go ahead.
To those fans, I would say, look at the Broncos game.
Mm-hmm.
If you thought this game was rigged for the Eagles, I would say, all right, then keep that same energy and look at the Broncos game, especially that last drive.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it just at the end of the day, I just think it's it's the defense's mentality of like, we're gonna tire you out. We're gonna you're gonna have to earn that touchdown. Like, you might get down the field easily with chunk plays, but you're gonna have to earn it when it gets into the red zone. The only thing that I was frustrated about from the defense is the out routes that they were consistently letting Carson Wentz throw between Addison, Josh Naylor, or Naylor. I don't think his first name's Josh, but like then Jefferson, and just every receiver in Minnesota in general was getting these out routes consistently over and over again. That's the only thing I'm really complaining about. But then I just want to shadow back to the offense. Devonta Smith with his best career game. That beautiful ball by Jalen Hurts on the money for a 79-yard touchdown, the longest connection between those two. Then A.J. Brown had two huge touchdowns. The first on fourth down when Jalen Hurts improvised and motioned A.J. Brown to get down to the field and connected with a beautiful 37-yard pass. Then the 29-yard pass late in the fourth quarter, and then to seal the game, pressure's on. They leave A.J. Brown one-on-one coverage with Isaiah Rodgers, who had a tough day against his old team. Delivers a beautiful pass to A.J. Brown to ice the game. I think we got to give credit to these three guys. I think they're one of the best, if not the best trio in the NFL right now when they're firing on all cylinders and have the ability to perform like the amazing athletes they are. That's basically what I'm saying about. It's basically a shot at Kevin Patullo. You have these guys, and now you finally decide to use them, and you see what happens. It's with the best the passing games looked in a while. So, but then let me just ask you this overall. What do you think they can take out of this game and use it not only for the Giants game, hopefully, but after the bye week?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the Kevin Patullo thing. I mean, I don't even think it was his decision to throw the ball. I think Hurts and Brown went to him and said, look, dude, Saquon's hurt. Like, obviously, you could see in his face. You could see the way he's running toward those later runs in the game. You could see him stretching on the sideline. You could tell he was in some sort of pain. And you can't keep, like, yes, shoving the ball down their throat, getting those 5-6 yard runs is good. But if you do that for 9 straight plays and you're like, all right, let's do it for a 10th time and an 11th time in a row, they're going to know what the fuck to do. Like, it's not that hard. It's hard, like, obviously it's hard you're in the NFL, but, like, it's not hard to predict what you're doing if you're doing it over and over and over again for the past 5 weeks.
Exactly.
So I think it's about time that one of them stepped up. I think the crucial things for next week against the Giants will be the run defense. I think as long as the offense did the same thing with the passing, I think they'll be fine. But obviously, Scatterboo and Dart, man, they're two tough motherfuckers. They have the swagger of being a rookie. They are vibing together. They have great chemistry, which is something you can't really say with the Eagles offense right now with Brown, Hurts, and Saquon. And obviously you say, oh, well, this game proved that all wrong. I'm like, it really didn't. It's the first time they connected all season.
Yes.
So we need that.
Go ahead.
And it's a lot bigger. This week's a lot bigger than the Minnesota Vikings. You were playing an interdivision team. So this week will prove that matchup, if their chemistry is good. So I think our run defense needs to be our Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Ajomo, and whoever else is going to be playing D-line this week. They need to step up and be tough because Cam Scatterboo doesn't give a fuck who you are. You saw it 2 weeks ago when he ran right to Zach Brown's and fucking Zach Bond's face and ran him the fuck over. You are looking at a guy who is considered Defensive Player of the Year, run over by a rookie.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know if you saw it yesterday. Wide open to the left. Scotty said, fuck that. Run right down the middle, down your face, and he still scored.
Exactly.
Breaking two Denver Broncos tackles. And I mean, and they're going to come with something to play because they just lost. They just blew it, I think, 19-point lead in the fourth quarter?
Yes. 19-point lead, and then it was like 20. It was 26-8 with under 8 minutes left to go.
Yeah, so they're going to come with some swagger this week. They beat you in New York. They know that they can win. Fuck all that. We're rookie shit. We're here to play, and we're going to prove why we should be considered for this NFC East title.
Yeah.
So I think this is a big week for them.
Mm-hmm.
It all starts up front on the line of scrimmage.
It does, and like you said, they should be 3-4 coming into this game. They looked absolutely incredible on both sides of the ball, but then once the fourth quarter hit, everything just seemed to unravel. And then Jackson Dart early had his first mistake. Obviously, he didn't have a great game against the Saints, but in a close pressured game, this was his first real mistake being a rookie, and it came back to bite them. And obviously, you can't do anything about a kicker missing a few extra points. But at the same time, it's like they're coming with a lot to play. At this point, they're like you said, they might be trying to go for the NFC East because it's definitely not out of contention the way both teams are playing right now. But at this point, they have nothing to lose. They're a young team, they're hungry, and they have a lot of expectations. The way Giants fans see it right now, they have their franchise quarterback, they have their franchise running back, they get Malik Neighbors back next season. Wan'Dale Robinson has been great stepping into this role. And then you might get a guy at the trade deadline that can help you future in the next, not only this year but next year, like maybe even like a Jalen Waddle that I've seen, which would be great for them. But just overall, they're playing hungry right now, and they're playing with nothing to lose. Which with a team that has high expectations playing against a team like that is not always the best recipe for success. So I think yes, I expect a lot out of the D line this week. Hopefully, Jalen Carter stays healthy again during this week practice because he will definitely be needed. It was shown on Thursday night. And difference is we're not coming off a short week. We're coming off a week that we looked well. And this passing game, I think, should continue to look good because obviously Javon Holland and Adebo went out late, so that definitely hurt the Giants. But at the same time, if the passing game's not working, use Saquon Barkley the way he's supposed to be used. Don't overuse him and run him outside the numbers, not inside. It doesn't work when you run him inside of the whole thing because you got big Dexter Lawrence right there. You got Brian Burns. You got Abdul Carter. You got Kayvon Thibodeau all right there in the things. You run him to the outside where he can gain momentum. He's going to get 10, 15 yards a carry if you realistically let him have that ability to because you have Mailata out there. You have Lane Johnson on the outsides, and it's corners and linebackers against him. That's a mismatch. So use your strengths the right way when it comes to the offensive side of the ball and control the line of scrimmage when it comes to the defensive side of the ball and stopping Cam Scatterbill. That's how I feel.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but stop throwing a bubble 3-4 yards behind the line of scrimmage because by the time he gets that line of scrimmage, there's 2 or 3 defenders already on him. You're getting 0 to -2 yards each time you run that play, maybe once or twice. You break that, you go for 5 to 10 yards. But I saw the Eagles have been running this play almost every other play in the drive, and it's not working. It's the same thing. It's run the ball with Saquon. All right, that don't work. Let's throw that bubble screen. Then that bubble screen gets blown back for 4 or 5 yards. You're looking at a 3rd and 17. We're gonna run the ball and get better yardage for our punt team.
Yeah. Like, what are we even doing? Your stupid play calling set you up for these 3rd and 15s, 3rd and 16s, like you just mentioned. It sets you up in bad scenarios. And then what else do you expect to do when you are put in these scenarios? Like, the offense, obviously, if I'm Jalen Hurts, I want to sling the rock on 3rd and 15 and try, because you saw it yesterday. How many times was Jalen Hurts put in 3rd and longs, got out of the pocket and created plays? One to Devonta Smith, and then the A.J. Brown second touchdown drive. He got out of the pressure was able to make a beautiful pass on the sideline to A.J. Brown and save that drive on 3rd and 15 and eventually led to that touchdown. Jalen Hurts is an amazing athlete. He's a dual-threat quarterback if you give him the ability to do so. It's not rocket science. You give him the ability to create plays, you can see what happens. And Jalen Hurts, I feel like this is the first time in a while. Obviously, the Rams, he had to do those because he had no choice. But this is the first time Jalen Hurts took over and was like, I'm making every play. I'm going to create these plays to these receivers. I'm going to show why I'm the quarterback of this team and why I can be a dual-threat quarterback not only in the running game, but I can be a progression passer through the middle and deep through the air with his 79-yard touchdowns. And it's just a lot of chunk plays. He had a lot of 20 to 25 and then some big plays like the 37 out there and then obviously the 79. He was spreading the rock all over the place between these two receivers, and it shows that it works because these guys are both talented. They are amazing route runners, and if you give them the opportunity, they can make small plays turn into big touchdown plays. It's as simple as that. So, but before we wrap this up and you give a preview of what we're going to talk about for the following week, obviously we have some news that was just confirmed a little while ago. Brandon Graham is back. He's going to announce tomorrow he's coming out of retirement and playing his 16th season in the NFL. What were your thoughts on that, and what kind of impact do you think he can make in any way?
I think he'll have that veteran presence. I mean, I think this defensive line core is still young. They're still immature, as you saw week 1, Jalen Carter in Dallas. So I think it's good. It gives us some more depth on the D-line, of course, with Graham being here. My only thing is he's still in football shape. I know Howie Roseman went to him at the beginning of the season. Hey, do you want to play? Are you sure you want to retire? He said, I got to talk with my wife and kids. And then he did. He retired. I forget the addition they made. It's slipping on the top of my head right now. Smith. And then he's out. So you're like, Howie Roseman, I mean, we could really use you, BG. You want to come? You know what? Fuck it. Let me get back-to-back chance, and then I'll fucking retire. Yeah. So I think that's just the way I think it went.
Yeah. And in an interview, I believe I just saw this before we hopped on. In the interview, he did say he's still practicing, and getting, still in the regiment of, NFL, but it's obviously different doing it by yourself than at an actual practice field. I'm not expecting much out of him. I'm expecting the role he played his final year, or his past year with us, just be that depth piece, but also be that veteran guy. I think it's tough that Nolan Smith is on the IR right now because Nolan Smith really seemed like before he got hurt, he needed that veteran mentorship, and I feel like once he gets back after the bye week, hopefully, that Brandon Graham is that guy for him, and Nolan Smith can continue to have that great season that I expected out of him. But we will see at the end of the day. I think he'll be a great depth piece. I think he'll, like you said, great veteran leadership to this team. And at the end of the day, they got this one more game before the bye week. Win this Giants game. Look good going into the bye week because you need to be healthy and you need to make a few minimal moves before going to the second half of the season. And let me ask you this before we wrap up. Give me one person you want the Eagles to give me one player you want the Eagles to try to acquire before the trade deadline. Because we'll obviously do an episode about the trade deadline and stuff like that, but give me one player as of right now on October 20th that you would like the Eagles to try to acquire for this team.
It's not really much a player, Zach. It's more of a position. You need help at the corner.
Okay.
You need help at the corner and DB situation. Obviously, you got Cooper and Quinton, but they're not going to do it all. Cooper's been playing linebacker pretty solid for us, and he's been good on that one-on-one coverage, but you need a corner. You've seen it this week between Jefferson and Addison.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, Quinton can't be on both of them all the time, and you can't run zone all the time. They killed us on zone with those out routes. So you need a corner that are strong and confident in, so you can run man, and have that good one-on-one time, and hopefully come down with an incompletion or the ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because as of right now, we don't have any interceptions from our corners. Our only interceptions from our secondary are from Makuba. So, But a guy I'm looking at very in particular is Denzel Ward. I think he'd be a great addition to this team. In Cleveland, obviously, they won this week, but at the same time, I think he'd be a great addition to this team. But like you said, the cornerback position would be help. I think we need to find a way to get an edge rusher. I would call up anyone from Miami. I'll take anyone between Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, or even Matthew Judon. Call up and get one of those guys. But I think we're both in correlation. I definitely want a corner, but I'll take either a corner or an edge rusher. I'll take even both. If we can get two mid-tier guys to put into this lineup, I'll take that at the end of the day. So, but Joe, do you want to preview what to possibly expect if we do any more episodes this week?
What to expect? Me and Zach have been talking. We've been trying to, once again, we're sorry we didn't upload as much as we wanted to over the past week, but we've both been busy with work, school. So we're sorry again. But this me and Zach have been we didn't totally forget. We've been talking about plans for the future. We're talking about Flyers Fridays. We're gonna obviously the Flyers played a Kraken tonight. Last time I checked, it was 1-1. Owen Tippett. 3 consecutive games with a goal. Yeah. So definitely Friday we will do a Fly. You can expect the Flyers podcast. And then over the weekend, Zach and I might go down and do more interviews for you guys. I know y'all like the interviews that we did. And World Series starts on Friday. Game 7 between Toronto and Seattle tonight. Obviously our Phillies aren't in it, but we will still break down. Maybe we'll do a prediction video or we'll just do a recap on the World Series. But it's a major sporting event. Just because our Titans aren't in it doesn't mean we can't still break it down for you guys and give our input.
And just on that note, the Flyers are actually up 4-2 right now in the middle of the second period.
Fuck the Kraken.
But yeah, like Joe said, I know we haven't recorded in a minute, but it's just life in general. We just had stuff to come up, and we just wanted to get you guys out this episode. And like Joe said, expect probably a Flyers Friday. We'll try. We're not guaranteeing it, but if it works out well, we'll try to get back down and do some more interviews because we know you guys really enjoyed that well. I'll try to get more in there, and obviously we'll bug with more probably Giants fans and Eagles fans more than anything. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Enjoy all the sports that are going on tonight and the rest of the week. And we hope to see you guys later this week, hopefully with the Flyers Friday. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys, and see you later.